So, before we start this commentary, I'd like to say that last night at work, I was trying to use a knife because I work in like a restaurant, and I fully nearly cut my finger open, and it only started hurting this morning. So,
Oh,
not fun. Anyway, welcome to the commentary, guys. um, welcome to the commentary, guys. I am Simon. I am the director, part writer, animator, editor, slave of this film. And if my lovely co-worker here would like to introduce himself too.
I I am the co-writer of this two-parter and the Overlord of Atlas.
You are, yeah.
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 But don't worry though. Unlike other dictators, I feed my prisoners
Exactly.
like graham crackers.
Exactly. Yeah, I get a lovely graham cracker slipped under my door every morning. Sometimes if I'm good, I get a little bit of cheese on it too. So we together
Only on special occasions.
Yeah, only on special occasions, Christmas, New Year's, you know. But this is the commentary for our two-part fantasy superhero film, Doctor Strange Knightmare, which is a name that I thought of as a joke, and then I thought was really good. So, so technically...
Which shows you the good ideas I have.
Yeah, no, exactly. So technically, I like to point out before we begin this, there was technically 3 writers, and then one of them kind of dipped halfway. Our third writer was Leo Lizard. He wrote quite a bit, and what he did write was very good. But eventually, it got to the point where once I joined the project. By the way, just for a timescale reference here, I must be one of the youngest people to work on this universe. I'm currently 17, right? When Thai asked me to come onto this project, I was fucking 14 years old. It has been 3 years we've been working on this. Yeah, it's been a long slog. But eventually, by the time I got onto it, it got into a point where I'd written so much. I don't think Leo was that interested in it anymore. Which honestly, like, fair dues. I don't blame him. But he eventually didn't write as much as the two of us. He's a very busy guy. But I just like to thank him now because I forgot to credit him because I just forgot. Because I honestly forgot until I was checking the details of the Google Doc to see like who was like running it, and I saw it at the top written by Leo Lizard. I was like, oh yeah. So sorry, Leo. But anyway, I think we should just get started and start watching, shall we? Or do you have anything else to say?
Like an hour-long commentary.
Hour long. Let's go. So this has to be the longest. Is it? It won't be the longest project in Atlas because Ant-Man 2 is a bit longer, I think. This logo took me ages. Just want to point that out.
Yeah, because I mean, in total, I bet. No, together both parts are like 40, but Ant-Man 2 is almost an hour long. Because God forbid, we write a short video in a reasonable time.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Leo wasn't writing the project for long.
No,
but
it must have been like
the biggest thing
a month or two, I think.
Yeah, at most. And mind you, we were already doing so many other things at the time, so it wasn't like he was on like. The biggest thing I will say that he contributed to the script overall is how we portrayed Knightmare.
Oh yeah,
because me and Leo, back when me and Leo were writing the project, very early on when we were discussing it, he told me how some of his favorite villains are not redeemable. They're not these like they don't have a tragic past, or not these like redeemable or understandable people.
Yeah.
Are monsters.
Oh yeah.
And that's what he wanted with Knightmare. And so I feel like that overall was how we wrote Knightmare, was just as this absolute horrible being.
Absolutely.
And I think that really did affect how we told the story, and I really do give props to that. Thank you, Leo, if you're ever watching this.
I think making Knightmare just an irredeemable guy makes his death so much more satisfying in the end. Spoilers, if you haven't seen it for some reason. Anyway, let's continue. Should we continue watching, or do you want to say something else?
Yeah, we shall. Let's continue.
Yeah. This music here. This was like, I remember I was sat there editing this, and I originally had the Christmas Carol from Royal David City, and then I changed it. Cause I'm like, why have I put a Christmas Carol in this? And then I watched Maestro, that new Bradley Cooper movie. I was like, oh, this movie is so perfect. Like, he plays it in like I don't remember what it is. He plays it at this like massive concerto, and he really really well portrays Leonard Bernstein, famous composer.
Yeah.
This just sat in my timeline for a month. It was off. Like, cause like I hadn't gotten any voice lines by this point. I was just sat here with this opening for like maybe like half a year. Just sat here waiting for voice lines to come through.
Yeah.
Everyone did a fantastic performance. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But speaking of, we were talking about Jim Starlin earlier. He did Infinity Gauntlet.
He did.
And the opening is Doctor Strange and Wong are talking, and then the Silver Surfer crashes into their house.
Yeah, no, I remember.
And this opening.
Yeah, no, I remember because I was watching. I think it was Kype Goldenflyer's video. I don't remember which one it was. It might have actually been Infinity War, and I was watching his video. And it had come out after this, and I was like, there's no way he's copied this, right? Then I read the original Infinity War comics, I'm like, oh, that's where I got it from! And I'm going to assume that's where we got it from, too. Yeah, because I was like, I fully thought Kype Goldenflyer had stolen from us. But I was like, that's weird, because he's such a chill guy, Kype. Honestly, I love him. He's great. But, everyone delivered a great performance, especially Airborne. Like, he took a minute with his lines, but again, it's like, it's so worth it, because he's fantastic in Doctor Strange, and he's...
Yeah.
I know some of his other roles, he was also in Moon Knight, Greenleaf's Moon Knight, and he was great in that as well. But it's always worth the wait with him. And, but with Chris, who plays Wong, he's more of a friend of me than he is of everyone else here. He's been voicing for me, since I was about 12, I think. And then he voiced, he must have voiced, I think, one of his first major voice roles in one of my videos was Riddler. And he's always on it, like, he always responds, like, immediately, like, within a day, tops. Like, he's great. I got him to voice Wong, because I think you originally meant to voice Wong, I think, and then you backed out.
I was going to, but then around that time, I was just like, I really did not have time, and also I was very like iffy on like mainly just because at the time, because like I got a new phone and it just did not have like this type of audio equipment at the time. I sent in lines to a couple people, and then I saw those videos, and it's like, wow, my audio in those videos is absolute shit.
Was it one of those? Was it like, I remember I was listening to the Ant-Man commentary this morning. Was it because like you were? Was it one of the ones you would record Ant-Man with the phone or?
Yeah, okay. It was. I performer Ant-Man. I very much prefer my performance in Ant-Man 2. Because actually we were going to recast Hank for Ant-Man 2.
Really?
But then, because I was just like, I don't want to voice this character. I hate my performance in it. And then we read this, in SBS read the script for Ant-Man 2 together, and I read as Hank. And that was the first time I read as Hank, because anytime we read through, I never read as Hank. And then I read through as Hank the last time we read the script together, and I was like, I gotta play this character. But
the same thing
now back to this video.
But the same thing happened when you were casting Knightmare, because we were just doing a read-through. I must have been, I think, a group call or something. We were in a group call on must have been Leo's server or the old Mates one ages ago. And we were in a group call, and I read out the line, and you were like, nah, you're being Knightmare. And I was like, okay. I just, because, like, Middle England, British people make for better villains, I guess, I don't know. But it's that slightly posh James Bond accent you're looking for. But, no, but I forget her name. Is it Alive Zombie, her name is? She did a really good job as Clea, but I had a problem that her voice lines were always just a little bit too quiet. Like, they were always a little bit on the quiet side, but I managed to fix that in part 2, so it doesn't really matter. But
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but she was great.
Actually, so the person, so I meant to, so the person who voiced Clea, it DM'd me after part one. They were like, "Oh, hey, I changed my like acting name
that's why
to
the credits
something,"
different
and I was
in the two things. Yeah.
yeah, and then like, so I meant to, but what I forgot to say was they changed it again.
Again.
So it's tech.
So
yeah,
it's not what
like,
it is in the credits on the part two.
No.
So both of them are out of date now. Well, I guess I'll just update it now. Then what's the name? What's the name? Go on.
I'll send it to you after the commentary.
Okay, I'll edit it in. I'll edit it in. But she was fantastic. But her lines were a bit too quiet in part one. I think Spiny Sky, he noted on this. He makes a cameo. He does a Moonlight cameo in the second one. He noted that a lot of the lines were too quiet compared to the music, which I tried to fix more in part two. But now I rewatch it, I'm like, yeah, it's more noticeable.
Yeah. Speaking of voice actresses, so for part one, it was, they were like Clara or Clara and Zombie were like the last people to listen to the line. But for part two, every female voice actress were the first people to send in their lines.
They were on it.
Yeah, they were like on it for part two.
I don't want to shit talk J-Red, but we'll get into that in a minute. But we'll get into that when we get to part two. But I think we'll just continue.
Yeah.
We'll continue watching for now.
Yeah.
But I remember. I do you think we'll ever explore Dormammu in a future project or not? Because I remember you had a plan for part two. It didn't include a potential sequel. But it included Dormammu. But do you think we'll ever explore that, or?
I don't know, because like right now, I mean, I would love to continue. Like, I love Doctor Strange. I would like to do a follow up, but obviously not with the multiverse.
Yeah, no.
I'm kind of.
I know. This is
kind of happy.
Yeah. I know this is a bit of a pernickety thing. I'm not a big fan of like multiverse stuff. I know this seems really hypocritical.
No, fair.
As I made a multiverse thing, but like, I remember I watched the OG Doctor Strange, and I think I know this was technically written before that, but I think I incorporated quite a bit of inspiration into this as we went on, because obviously Doctor Strange 2 with the multiverse shit came out whilst we were writing, and I think I tried to incorporate some inspiration into that, and I remember I think I went to go see the movie first before you. And you asked me, is it similar to our thing at all? I'm like, no. But I remember
I was hesitant.
I tried to incorporate a bit more into it, mainly with like some of the fights and stuff like that. But because Sam Raimi's fantastic and he always is. But then what was I on about? I don't even remember the multiverse stuff. I think it happens a lot, especially in Lego stuff. When you're making a multiverse story, it has a feeling like your universe, the one you're in, kind of feels like the center of everything in multiverse stories, and I think it happens too often, because it happened with Crisis, and then it also happened with Grasso Guys, and then Grasso Guys tries to act like that one's Earth Prime, but then they bring all the Batman into Crisis universe, and it becomes a bit confusing after a point, and I think, not to say that either of those projects are bad by any stretch of the imagination, but then I felt like here kind of doing that same territory again, because it was the same issue. What happened was Crisis' finale to his Justice League series came out while we were writing again. Actually, I think it was while I finished writing and still trying to find voice lines. I think I animated the whole thing. I animated the first part. I was editing that, waiting for voice lines to come in. And then Crisis released his finale to Justice League, and then I read past and then me and you, we both read past the second part with the purple light, and we're like, that's the same thing. So we accidentally copied him without realizing.
Arguably he copied us, because he didn't write that until after we were done.
So he accidentally copied us, but it was like entirely just accidental parallel thinking. I think there's a term Tom Scar came up
with. An insane coincidence.
That the both of us,
Truly
purple light, all of them coming into one place, and there's a big fight. It was, oh my god, it was the whole thing. He accidentally stole it. I'm so sorry, Crisis, because it makes it like that we stole from you now because it released afterwards.
Yeah.
But I think we should.
Though I do have credit. Yeah, I do have a. Spiny Sky did film his cameo way before Crisis started filming episode 10. Yeah. So
I have a fun.
Crisis, we have our lawyers ready.
One distinctive memory I have is that he sent me a message, and he was like, "Hey, listen, can you do one of those Batman cameos where he looks into the sky and sees a purple light?" I was like, "Okay," and then I just forgot to do it, and then I realized the episode came out, and I was like, and I saw the Batman cameo, and I was like, oh, I was meant to do one of them, and I messaged him, and I was like, I forgot to do mine. He was like, yep, and I was like, sorry, but it's fine. I think it might have dragged on a bit too long with mine anyway, because mine was just like a really brief, like Batman's lots of mugger, and then there's like a bright light. It wasn't very special, but like, it would have been cool, but I forgot. So
yeah. I'll say more about that when when we get to the cameo montage. Yeah.
I think. I think I'd never heard of Clea, and then I saw it in Doctor Strange Part 2, and I was like, oh, that's the woman that I know. Like, it was just a really strange moment. This bit, I've forgotten what happened, but I think my mum was either out of town or like I'd gotten COVID or something. I don't remember, and I was at my dad's house, and I think I asked my mum. I think I got like COVID or some other illness where I got a migraine. That was it. I had a migraine, and I could not leave my room, otherwise I'd just collapse, right? And basically, I just called up my mom, and I was like, "Hey, can you pick up some of the supplies from my house and just bring them over to my dad's place?" So I quickly animated it there, and I grabbed the I don't know this like black wall here. I don't know if that's like, I think it's like a professional photography thing, but I just use it for like generic dark voids now, or like night skies or shit like that. And then I brought that and just some of the figures that I asked Mom, can you get some of the figures that I need as well? And then she brought them down, and I just animated a few like the really basic scenes down there. You can tell which ones they are because they're all kind of filmed like the same way. It's not much interesting light wise. And they're all filmed with either either there's a plain black background or the generic grey wall that I use for everything. But yeah, it was a bit like
this scene. No, you go.
No, I was gonna say, like, I remember I wanted to time the music properly, so I was originally voicing this guy. Then you sent in your lines a bit later, and it came out a bit longer, but the music still timed decently well, so it was fine. What you gonna say?
Just ignore that a nihilist doesn't look like a nihilist in the comics.
Yeah, no. So what happened was, I remember I presented the trailer. I didn't know who Annihilus was. I was under the impression that Thai had made him up. So I just made this guy out of Anakin Skywalker and Draco Malfoy, and I just put him in. And then I showed the trailer. And then he was like, yo, is that guy with the Greedo head, is that Annihilus? And I was like, what? And then I googled Annihilus, and I was like, oh, he looks nothing like what I thought he did. I'm gonna pull up on screen now, and he looks nothing like this dude here. He looks like Greedo from Star Wars. It's just nothing like this dude, because I had no idea what he fucking looks like. I thought you'd made him up.
Yeah.
I thought you'd made him up.
No. That's why. He's an early Fantastic Four villain, and like it's like this mechanic bug looking esque. I mean, he's not mechanical. He's like flesh and blood. Well, I don't know what the fuck are inside insects. Well, flesh, whatever. I'm tired. And he looks like a Power Ranger villain.
Yeah, no, yeah.
That's kind of that's the type of performance I brought into Annihilus, because I thought Annihilus
because he thought he looked like an alien.
A Power Rangers villain.
Because he thought he looked like an alien. And he didn't. Now he just sounds like a spoiled brat with that face. The Draco Malfoy doesn't help.
He kind of is.
Yeah.
He kind of is a spoiled brat, but he looks like a cool spoiled brat in the comics.
Yeah, but
in
now
this he just looks
like Draco Malfoy became a Sith Lord. Like. Anyway, let's continue. This is the first appearance of Knightmare. Ooga booga. I thought it was a really good intro. I remember you intentionally asked me to use Darkside's theme as Knightmare's theme. I remember you gave me like a playlist of songs. Please, could you use these? And one of them was Darkside's theme for Knightmare. I remember that.
I love this scene. It's one of my personal favorites from Atlas. Just solely because of how fucking unhinged you made it. Like, it's already unhinged in the script, but like the fucking montage.
Yeah, the green fire here, and then it cuts back to here. This next bit, the next bit that I did with the editing, and then like I incorporate like a thing is, I remember you said this next scene is about to come up. You wanted it like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, was it? The scene in the tunnel in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
With the
flashing colors, and I remember that, and then not long after that, I'd seen Clockwork Orange for the first time. You can tell that because I used the theme in the credits.
The death of Queen Elizabeth or
Queen Anne.
Mary Elizabeth.
It's
Queen Anne.
Funeral of Queen Anne in the credits, and I'd incorporated that as well because basically what they do is spoilers for Clockwork Orange. He's like the main character. He's like this fucking psychopath, and don't try and cure him of his psychopathy. They expose him to a bunch of like horrific scenes and like history or like murder and other awful stuff, and they play Mozart in the background, which like every single time now he hears Mozart, he has like a physical reaction, like he vomits whenever he hears Mozart. And I incorporate that as well. I don't think it was Mozart, I played Beethoven's Ninth in the background. This is why there's an epilepsy warning, by the way, so warning now, another epilepsy warning coming up. I played Beethoven's Ninth in the background, and then I ended up, what was it? Sorry, this is a lot of noise. I ended up playing some stuff from like the dropping of the bomb in Hiroshima, some of the awful stuff the Japanese did in China, the Black Death, slavery, Vietnam, just a bunch of like awful stuff that was done. And I put
Hitler speech.
I did put a Hitler speech in the background, yes. Then I also put Oppenheimer.
You're gonna forget that?
Yeah, no, I put the Hitler speech in the background. I put Oppenheimer's speech in the background. Truman's when he dropped the bomb on Japan, and then I think it was Bush declaring the war on terror as well. I put that in the background as well. Yeah, no, I put that in the background. This was like, I remember you said to me when you were doing this, you didn't. The direction of the script was incredibly peculiar for this hand scene, and you said, "Oh, you can just do it how you want." Still didn't know how to do it, so I just got a bunch of blue tack and just stuck it to him and then put the hands on that. I remember you said you don't have to do it if you don't want to, but I still think it comes across.
Thank you. Perfect. Yeah, because it's just like it actually was kind of based on a bit of a nightmare. How it
your nightmare just about like this.
Well, kind of. I was like, it felt like a Black Mirror episode almost. It just like had all these like hands, like these severed hands, like crawl on me and just grab me wherever they were. And then it like, even though they weren't moving, I was like, it's like they were kind of controlling me, and I just essentially walked into a black void. And that's kind of where I got the idea for like Strange being covered in all these like hands.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's
fun family stuff.
Fun family stuff. But for the whole family. Doctor Strange Nightmare for the whole family. No, but this scene as well. I think it was this monologue you made me read that made you like go, "Oh, he's Knightmare now."
Yeah, exactly. Some of the writing in this to me shows that this was one of the first Atlas scripts ever
absolutely.
written.
I think
but on the other,
you can tell because I was rewatching Ant-Man 2 as well. The contrast in the writing, the quality of the writing, because what you and SBS wrote for Ant-Man is fucking great. Ant-Man 2, it's great. And you compare it to this, which is obviously written by someone, respectfully, who wasn't that experienced writing, and a 14-year-old. So it kind of shows a little bit, but you compare it to Ant-Man 2, which came out before this, because this project took so long, and but then I think it still works. It's still watchable. I think.
Yeah.
Because like I'm fully
there's still plenty of good dialogue.
Yeah, no, there's a lot. It's still I still consider it good. It's a good project, but I think if we were to write it today, we'd keep the plot the same. I think the dialogue could be improved, especially this bit here from the Ancient One, where he tells Knightmare to screw off, and I was like, even I read that when I was 14, and I was like,
yeah.
I remember thinking that.
Like, ooh.
Yeah, I remember writing that. I was 14. He's like, come on, really? He's like 1,000 years old. I think of better lines than screw off. Come on, like. I think that was one of the. I think it was when I actually got attached to the project because I mentioned this like fun fact like I'd heard on the radio that like a moment was a minute and 30 seconds, and then you put that in the script.
Yeah.
And then I
was like, oh, that's so cool.
And then there's also various other just random fun facts I said, and you were like, just put it in. Maybe to do the witch trials a bit later on, but we'll get to that scene when we get to it.
Oh my god.
So his Wong, my goat. Yeah. I love Wong. I love the way we wrote Wong. He's so funny. Genuinely, he's one of my favorite characters we wrote for this. He's fantastic.
Yeah, I love Wong. Honestly, how the MCU did Wong, I love it. I love just
so
how
funny.
Like yeah, and like he's so but the whole thing with like blueberry strudels, that was originally meant to be like some like weird running gag I was gonna put in like a lot of other projects. And then I was just like, you know what, that's stupid, I'm not going to do that.
But so now it's Wong's thing.
It really shows just like, yeah, now it's just Wong's blueberry strudel. Because I shit you not, back when I was originally doing Captain America, or when I was initially writing it for, I forgot his name, but the original animator who was going to do it, the whole reason Atlas is a thing, I was like, I'm going to have Dum Dum Dugan have a blueberry strudel, and I was just like, I'm gonna make that. I was very inexperienced when it came to writing.
Yeah, no,
at the time.
I think
we
both were quite a bit. But I think now the thing is that now should we tell them? Should we tell them, or do we keep that a secret for now? Because I've already posted an Instagram post about it, kind of. But do we tell them who the new animator for Captain America is or not?
I want to. Yeah, you can.
It's me. It's. I'm also. I think we can tell them about Black Panther as well, right?
Yeah, we can. We can tell them about Black Panther.
We're also kind of working. The three next projects I have stocked up is Captain America, Black Panther, and Fantastic Four. Those are the three I'm currently working on, and they should be fun. It's given me a lot more creative liberty with Fantastic Four and Black Panther, because the entirety of Black Panther is just a whole commentary about Martin Luther King Jr. But and Fantastic Four, I got a bit more input on that as well. But I think we're working Captain America together more closely.
Yeah,
like kind of the same way we did Doctor Strange. Because I remember you mentioned the writing process for Ant-Man. The original Ant-Man, where SBS wrote the opening, then it was you for a bit, and then from a certain point onwards, then it was SBS the entire thing. Whereas for Doctor Strange, the two of us would usually just like get in calls together and just like talk it through together as we were writing, usually. Yeah. So it was more of a collaborative effort as opposed to Ant-Man. Not to say that you and SBS weren't working. Not to say that you and Liam weren't working together, but just I think the way we worked, we worked a bit more closely together. That like we were working at the same time.
Yeah. I think both are effective, but I really feel like I definitely have been preferring my more recent method when it comes to co-writing scripts, which is I write a scene or two, and then someone else writes a scene or two, and then we'll like go through our stuff, and like change if we need to. But I mean, I do think, because like the last time I really did a like this sort of like both of us are in the call and writing a script together was ironically with Frosty Fiasco with Enzo. That was the last script.
Yeah,
I did that for.
I remember Enzo sent me a really funny DM. He was like, "Hey, listen, can you sort out this discussion between me and Thai? Both of us two have very different titles for this project. I don't know what to do." And then I said, like, "Well, okay, respectfully, both of them are shit." Like, you sent me two different titles. One of them was Enzo's. One of them was yours. I think Enzo's like something really Christmassy themed, and yours was like Fantastic Four Remembrance for a Christmas special. And then I was like, respectfully, these doesn't work. And then I didn't think of a better one, but I was like, just don't go with either of them. And then eventually, obviously, came out with Frosty Fiasco, which isn't a bad title, to be fair. Yeah.
Yeah. But I remember. Oh, you go.
No. It's just I feel like the first whole comment just keeps me telling stupid fucking stories from behind the scenes.
We're not even talking about the current video. We're talking about like Enzo's video.
Yeah, 2 Christmases ago.
Yeah. But yeah, okay. But I was happy to have the Ancient One be how he looks in the comics. I love what the MCU did, but it was definitely whitewashing at the end of the day.
Tilda Swinton is great, but I think I tried to draw my inspiration from the comics, but I think obviously by this point he's dead. He's firmly dead. But
yeah,
I feel like there's a lot of backstory here that I think could really be elaborated on. For example, here to get to where we are now currently, there's this implied backstory with Wanda and Agatha here involving Quicksilver, who's obviously now dead. And my question for you is do you think we'll be able to see any more of like Wanda and Agatha and their backstory involving Quicksilver, or?
I would like to. I do want to. So, are you going to be able to bleep this next part out?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, cool. I want. But when it came to writing this, I had genuinely no idea what I was going to do with the X-Men. This is like, so I was just like, I'm probably not going to do the X-Men in Atlas.
Because remember, this is 3 years ago we're talking.
Yeah, like literally when I was doing this, like when I was mapping this project out, I had no idea. I was going to do the Illuminati instead of the Avengers.
Oh my god.
It was going to be completely different. Yeah. And then Crisis bullied me, and now I'm doing Avengers. Yeah, you can thank Crisis for the fact that we're not doing the Illuminati.
You put a special thanks at the end of Avengers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be like special thanks to Crisis Studios, fuck you, with love, or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, no, because until me and Legoman Films started doing Spider-Man, I wasn't even thinking of doing Spider-Man for Atlas. I was never thinking of doing Hulk. I wasn't thinking of doing X-Men, or there were a lot of characters I wasn't sure about doing.
I can tell Ant-Man was a bit of a passion project for you. I could really tell that.
Yeah.
I mean, you said it was originally going to be like 5 minutes. That ended up coming out to be half an hour. So I think you very clearly have a passion for Ant-Man.
Yeah, Ant-Man is one of my favorite characters. But like that was going to be a show, but you'll know more about that in the commentary.
Yeah, listen to that commentary instead, which will be on screen somewhere.
Yeah, well, yeah, let's watch that commentary during our commentary.
Exactly, commentary.
It's like fucking football. Just commenting on commentary.
It's like that. It's like that podcast that talks about the Hawk Tour podcast minute by minute.
Oh my. Hawk Tour wasn't even a thing when this video was coming out.
No, it wasn't. No, I think the biggest meme was Among Us. I think. Fucking Jesus. Anyway, I think we should continue.
Yeah.
Watching.
Okay.
This. I remember. I asked if I could use this costume for Scarlet Witch, and then you told me to change it at some point to the one in the CMF. So I was like, okay, and then I forgot because there's a scene in part 2 where Wolverine makes a joke about her Halloween costume, and I was like, oh, that doesn't make any sense because I didn't get the CMF figure. Oh well. I remember distinct memory. I wasn't making any sense, but it's fine. I don't think anyone cared other than me.
Yeah,
this shot,
I forgot.
There's fancy shots here. These fancy shots I recorded on my phone instead of my camera, because I have like a big camera. You may have seen it in some behind-the-scenes shots. But for more fancy shots like this, where it flips around, I use my phone instead. Just literally turn the phone. You can tell the difference in quality rather starkly, but I think it still works. This is the first set I built for the whole thing. I was a set there for ages, and it was like probably the best set I've done, because there's a little bookshelf, and then there's the if we cut to a shot of Wong, there's like the Hitler's magic handgun, I think, in the corner, which you told me about while we were writing, and then I was like, that's weird as hell, because you mentioned it, I think, in when you were writing part 2, and you mentioned, and you wrote it in the script, and I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then you told me, and I was like, that's weird as hell.
Yeah, the comics
there
are
it is,
crazy.
up there at the top right. Yeah, here, this guy here, Giles Corey. This is a real guy they like found, and like we talk more about it in the film. But I mentioned this as we were writing, and you were like, "Yo, let's put it in." Again, one of the stupid fun facts I had, because I was like cripplingly like single, and I had a bunch of spare time, and I just like I'd watch like, I'd watch Salmonella videos like all the time, and I'd pick up stupid fun facts like this, and I just I'd say them to you like, "Yo, let's put it in." But I remember
the video's a fun time capsule.
Yeah.
Of early Atlas.
Yeah. This bit here, if I remember distinctly, you were considering cutting this scene out, but I had to get the Strange and Wong figures, but I couldn't find them anywhere else. I had to get them from this set here with the big guy here. And you were planning on cutting this out, and I was like, no! Don't cut this out! I spent £20 on this set just for this scene, and then you were about to cut it out, and I was like, don't do it, man. Yeah.
No, I remember distinct. Yeah.
I was like begging with you. I was like, please. I remember. Oh, who is that?
That's not how I remember it.
Do you not remember it like that? Oh god.
Let me tell you how I remember it. I was like, the script was like 40-ish pages, and I remember reading through it, and I was like, okay, so easily after the Vision thing, we could just cut to them going to Wanda, because that's the next. And then I remember hearing you updating me on like getting the figures, and then getting that like gargantuan thing.
Yeah, the thing.
And then I remember. Yeah, I remember I did briefly. I was considering it, but then you were like, "Die! If you cut this scene out, I will kill you."
Because I think this has to be one of the most expensive things I've probably done. I think the cost for this must have been anywhere between at least £60 and £40. Which is quite a bit of money. But then I think Blood Meridian might top that for all the Western shit I'm buying. But because I don't have much in the terms of like cowboy stuff, so I'm having to buy a bunch of stuff for that. I remember this scene's distinctly was an editing error, because in this scene before the montage there was a clock ticking in the background, and then after the montage it's gone. So I forgot to put it back in afterwards. I don't think anyone noticed but me. You said that was really cool with the crucifixion of Doctor Strange. You thought that was really, really cool. Remember? Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
You said that was really, really cool. Remember when I did that?
Yeah, because I think you wrote the montage, I believe.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I saw that, and I was like, that is just such. I could already see the shot in my head of just like Lego Doctor Strange figure crucified, and I was just like, yeah, that's the money shot right there. That's what we're gonna advertise for.
Yeah, that was the poster, and that was the thumbnail for the trailer. But this here, I remember Enzo criticized my special effects because I didn't blur the background, which now I'm looking at it now, it does look really strange. The floor's out of focus, but the background isn't. This is such a subtle thing. Again, Airborne's great, but he kept saying exorcism and it slightly annoyed me enough.
Yeah.
It slightly annoyed me enough where I was tempted to ask him for the lines again, but I chose not to because it was such a petty little thing.
No. We would just be like, hey, can you just say exorcism correctly? And then we just like poorly like insert it into everything. It's just like one of those AI things. Like we have to commit an exorcism on Knightmare.
Like when we
that's
like
how we
when
should
we
have.
like when we with Howard the Duck we couldn't find a female voice actress in time for Brick Film Day, so we had to so Bad Days quickly just went onto Google, found an AI voice and quickly just pulled it up. Just quickly recorded it and put it in the group chat. It was hilarious. This is the last scene of this part, I believe. I would love to incorporate Mordo a bit more. He I think he's such a fascinating character. Like he's like, I think it's what Doctor Strange could have been if he didn't have the guide, at least in the films at least. It's what Strange could have been if he didn't have the guidance of, I forget her name, Rachel McAdams' character. It's a bit like, I think it's a bit like Batman. A lot of his rogues gallery. It's like what Batman could be without the guidance of Alfred. I think Mordo is a bit like what Strange could be if she'd have the guidance of, I forget her name again, Rachel McAdams. But I think he's such a fascinating character. And there's a lot. There could be a lot to be done with Mordo, I think.
And we absolutely waste him.
We killed him immediately. Like, seriously, we fucking killed him, as you just saw there. But I remember this scene here.
And I kind of liked just how much we don't Doctor Strange is already established within the videos, but we do give hints and details of his past.
Yeah, with stuff.
And Mordo is the Ancient One being dead. I think we mentioned Doctor Strange's siblings dying.
Yeah, no, you mentioned. Yeah, Knightmare mentions that in his monologue in the Clockwork Orange scene. That's what we're going to call it. But he mentions it. He mentions it there.
But that's actually why Doctor Strange has gray hair on the sides at such an early age.
Stress.
He's only in his yeah, it is stress and trauma. Being a doctor, being a wizard, and witnessing your a family member die in such a horrible way.
I can imagine that ages you like a fine wine.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think we should continue just to the end of this.
Yeah.
I was the magic effects here. I was really struggling to find them. I think I just got a library of I think it was Harry Potter sound effects. It's the only good thing those movies ever made. Those stupid sound effects. But and Daniel Radcliffe's acting career, obviously. But this scene here, I remember I continually asked you if I could use certain pieces of music because you had a playlist and some music I wanted to use wasn't in it, and I just asked you if I could use it. Specifically, I remember what I remembered was Mountains from Interstellar, which is used in the finale. This one I didn't ask, but everyone was like, "Oh, I'd peek the end there." I love the music at the ending. It's just the one I did ask for. Everyone was talking about.
Yeah.
And I think then this is the end, and I think everyone was watching, and especially Enzo was like, "Oh my god, can you fucking believe this, guys?" I just ended it there, and then I used the trailer from Anne, and then skipped the post-credits scene really quickly. So just talk about Moon Knight a second. I filmed this. I filmed this twice. I filmed it a first time where he had a slightly different. He had a different face. He had the just generic double face. I think Star-Lord uses it and Bucky uses it. But he asked me to change it to Poe Dameron's face, but I don't have Poe Dameron's face. The closest I have is the Indiana Jones face. So I used that instead. And then I also didn't understand the assignment, so I completely used the wrong. There's a tiny different setup. He sits up in a grey room. I didn't realize he was meant to be walking Sanctum Sanctorum until after I filmed it. I was such a fucking idiot. No, I didn't get the cameo. I didn't get the cameo because I thought he said Stephen as in Stephen Grant, not Strange as in Doctor Strange. And I was like, and then no, I had to film this twice. I don't think there's anything else to say about this because Moon Knight's already in the universe, and he's in Wales and London. Are you gonna expand Moon Knight anymore?
Yeah. So I mean, me and Gil have talked about a follow-up but currently we're focusing on Daredevil and Black Widow.
Mm.
We do want to do a second video, and we have an idea for it, but we don't know if we're going to do that one first or Midnight Suns, which he is attached to right now.
Yeah.
But this little after credit scene was more meant to be like a gag to what happened at the end of the Moon Knight post credit scene, which was establishing that Moon Knight was getting therapy from Doctor Strange, and so it was essentially supposed to be like Moon Knight at his like therapy appointment, and Doctor Strange not being there. However, the way it's shot kind of makes it seem like we're gonna get Moon Knight.
Yeah, no, I didn't
like.
So the thing is, I only just learnt this 5 seconds ago. I have not seen the post-credit scene for Moonlight Werewolves in London. I did not realize that was the joke. So it makes it look like a really dramatic entrance to Moon Knight, who by this point we've already seen. So it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
That's entirely on me. That post-credit scene is so weird.
No, it's okay. If we ever did like a compilation video of like you have both parts together as like one big thing, we probably would cut that scene out. Like
I do not blame you. Anyway, let's continue on. This is part 2 now. It was my idea to split it into 2 parts because originally it was going to be one big 40-minute long thing, and I was like, first of all, I don't really want to do that. Secondly, I think it works better if we have him just wanting to destroy the universe in the first part and the multiverse second part, so the thread escalates as we move to a different half of the story. I think a proper
Atlas intro.
Yeah, this intro. You saw the music from. What was it? Is it the game trailer?
Yeah,
the game that still isn't out yet. So think about it. Think about it like this.
Yeah.
That trailer came out whilst we were writing. That's how long it's been since the Wolverine trailer came out.
Doctor Strange Knightmare came out before GTA 6.
Exactly. Not Strange Nightmare. This is the font from the OG Raimi movies. Originally, yeah, no, you explain this bit because I just have some editing stuff I want to talk about.
So when it came to like who was going to be in this video, I was looking for all the different types of like videos I could like ask. Like if I know someone who did a Marvel video, I'll ask them. And I found Jay's Wolverine video, and I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta do like, I want to include Wolverine in this. And so during a call, I asked him if we could use his Wolverine, and he was like, yeah, sure, man. And I kind of mentioned this in like that post I did, but Jay was full on do whatever we wanted to his universe, whatever we wanted, because it's just like a short Wolverine video where
like five minutes
just kills
some guys.
Yeah, that's it. So he really just gave, it was like you could do whatever you want with that, including killing him.
Oh, we
so
killed him.
That was fun.
Well, I'll mention the murder when we get to the murder, but it's a really funny story. But this scene, I really wanted to do something a bit more inspired by the fight scene in episode 2 of Daredevil at the end. I realized I am not talented enough for this. But I still kept the green light here as a little homage to that scene in Daredevil. I think it's Cutman episode 2.
Oh, nice.
It's a little homage to that scene. So I wanted to do something much more impressive, but I am nowhere near talented enough for that. If we got Phylon on this, then maybe yeah, but no. But
I love this image of Wanda just looking down at this decapitated head while smiling. She's such a sociopath.
But no, one thing I had the issue with editing. What happened was my card was full. The card on my camera was like full, and by the time I formatted the card and got all the images into Final Cut Pro, which is my editing software, I had not put it through my stop motion program, and then I didn't realize that until I got to editing, and I think I mentioned that to you. And I thought it was good at first, and then eventually I started doing it, and I was like, if I keep going like this is not going to come out for another year, right? So what I had to do was, I had to get all the images, put them in sequence in a different timeline, export them back out as individual images, and then put them into my stop motion program, and then back into Final Cut Pro. So it was a whole process. I put them into Final Cut Pro, got rid of all the images, like fuck, took them back out into the stop motion program, put them back into Final Cut Pro. It was a whole fucking process, but it's as part of the reason why the video actually fucking came out, because I actually managed to figure out how to export an individual image out of Final Cut Pro. So that's the fun editing facts.
Insane.
It's great. So then and also there was talk about with this scene. I think here's the Halloween joke. Doesn't make any sense now because I didn't buy the figure. I also grade Wolverine a bit because in the original video he has that same hairpiece but just in the black, and I thought he's probably been there a while and he's been electrocuted. So I'll age him up a bit. So I gave him the same as I gave Doctor Strange with the slightly more grey hair here. And
that was kind of the. I'm sorry. That's kind of also why he says something of how long have I been down here? A few weeks, a few months. It's to kind of imply that it's been a while since we've seen this Wolverine. Enzo!
Spider-Man! Enter Spider-Man! So again, for a time frame of how fucking long this took, when did this video come out? Is it episode 5, episode 6 of a series?
So this specific clip came out. It's the post-credit scene for 6, this finale for the show. However, Enzo shot another thing that we were supposed to use. Enzo, for episode 4 or 5, we see Enzo's Spider-Man looking at the purple sky.
Yeah.
We didn't include it.
Did we not? Oh my god.
No, well, to be fair, the scene's already long enough.
Was it this one? This video, or was it that one? It's one of these two. Either way, think about how long.
Episode 6.
Episode 6.
Yeah. Episode 6 at the very end.
Yeah, here it is. Here it is. This is from 2 years ago. 2 years ago. This was, and I forgot to include it because I'm an idiot. No, I did include it. Just think about how long this took. This is November 2022, and this did not come out until 9 days ago, March 28th, 2025. So almost an entire 3-year-long gap between this and this when it actually got put in the final film.
But episode 4 or 5, we see Enzo's Spider-Man looking at the purple sky for a few seconds. But to be fair though, I think that the whole thing about this video is essentially saying time is fucking irrelevant in the multiverse. And it shows because this for Doctor Strange happens first and then the purple skies. But for Spider-Man, the purple skies happened first and then he met Doctor Strange. And it's essentially explaining why, because I think the Doctor Strange video takes place Atlas wise is in 2016 or 2017, and then Enzo's Spider-Man in this time I think is in 2012, and then also have
I think it's later than that, isn't it? I was under the impression it was way more modern. I thought it was 20, probably around the time it was actually uploaded. I thought it's my understanding. Oh well, either way, it's a different time.
Yeah. And it also explains why we have universes set in 2099, World War II, medieval times, whatever the fuck. I can't remember that. There's a Marvel comic. I can't remember. Whatever. Let's move on.
Anyway, that's.
But yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Enzo.
Thank you, Enzo. And hey, Leo got to be in the video some way.
Yeah.
Leo was actually my first. Leo was my first choice for Doctor Strange. Actually.
Yeah. No, I do remember that now. And then he backed out. Yeah. I remember this one very funny memory. We were in a voice call together, and you said, "What number is your universe?" I was like, "What? What number is your universe?" And I was like, "Oh, fuck knows." So I went into a random number generator, generated a random number between 1 and 10,000, and it came up with that, and I was like, that's it, 1959. No significance, just pulled it out of my ass. I remember that it was such a fucking funny story. But then here we got My Daredevil. My Daredevil from my series. I've only released 2 episodes so far. You can either interpret
at least episode 3.
Episode 3.
At least episode 3.
I'm waiting to get Spider-Man out first because you saw that on my story. I'm trying to get Spider-Man done first. But episode 3 is going to be eventually. But no, so Daredevil, voiced by the ever lovely J-Red Studios, J-Red 56. The thing is, J-Red, this is no slander on J-Red's character. He's a lovely guy, all Canadians are, and he's an especially lovely one, right? But, distinctly I remember, I asked for the voice lines from him in, I think, March of 2024, 2023. And I did not get them until that November. So it was a 6-month wait for the lines. Which, to be fair, the project didn't release until ages later. But he's a lovely fella, but again, it's the same thing with Airborne because he took a minute. But the voice lines are always so worth it with Jay because he's incredible. He's every role he does with Jay, he always puts his like. It's like he's trying to win an Oscar every single time he does a performance. And it doesn't matter how long I wait. I just it's always worth just hearing him edit it. It's always fun to edit his lines.
Yeah.
But it did take a hot minute with him. But yeah, no, I just wanted to point that out because he's a great fellow. I love Jay. He's fantastic. I loved it. I sometimes have casual conversations with him about one I had. I forget what it was. I think it was Wes Anderson. And it was a really fun conversation too. It was had, and then no, but he's a fantastic guy. It just took a minute, but it was worth it every single time. Jay's always worth it every time. And I think it's similar to Leo because Leo's a really good voice actor as well, but he also does take a sweet minute sometimes. But I don't mean to air out any dirty laundry, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Jay was one of the out of all the times I've written a project for Atlas, this has only happened 3 times where I'll write a character and then I'll immediately hear someone's voice.
Yeah.
Usually it's I'll cast after, but when me and Enzo were writing Inhumans episode 1, as soon as we started writing adult Maximus, I immediately heard Jay and I was like, Jay has to voice this character. And Jay literally read my mind and literally said it exactly how I heard him say it.
He's great.
I wish that episode. Yeah.
Although
but
I do want to point out
I'm not a.
We at Atlas, we do have a bit of a habit of consistently murdering J-Red. It's happened 3 times now, and it's becoming a bit of a pattern. Because he was he's Private Pears in Howard the Duck, and Howard the Duck shoots him in the face. He gets stabbed by the Unspoken in Inhumans, as when he plays Maximus the Mad, and in this, he gets blown up by Knightmare when he's playing Wolverine. So it's just a thing we have out. It's sort of becoming a running joke. But every single time, I think every single time we're to kill a character, just get him played by fucking J-Red, and just fucking kill him. Again, he's a lovely bloke, but it's just becoming a habit. We just keep killing him.
It's not just Atlas; it's you, by the way. With
it is
the
me
Italian
because
division.
I was in my original murder mystery short, the Italian division. He plays the murderer, and then at the end, the murderer fucking dies. So I too also personally myself have a habit of murdering J-Red. Again, in Atlas, two out of 3 times we've killed him in Atlas. 2 of them were me. So. And entirely me as well, by the way, because I think I actually wrote it was my idea to do to kill Wolverine, and it was obviously my idea to kill Howard Duck. So you let me have basically a lot of creative control of that, and there's mention, have She-Hulk in there, mention, Man Thing, and have Cosmo in there. But
yeah,
two out of the three
I was
times
like,
we've
put all
killed
these
him.
characters in there.
2 out of the 3 times we've
Yeah.
killed him, it was all me. So maybe I just like murdering J-Red. Who knows? Maybe I was secretly in Enzo's brain as a little worm, just telling him murder J-Red. But
it's like the mold on Rowling's wall.
exactly.
But instead of posting transphobic tweets, you're killing J-Red in brick films.
Keep killing him.
That's what the kill J-Red.
I'm gonna cast him as fucking. I'm gonna cast him as. I'm gonna recast Norman Osborn just to kill him.
Spoilers.
Come on, it's in the comics. He dies like in. Speedball.
But the other time.
Are we going to watch Speedball, or do you want to murder J-Red again?
Why not both? We can do both.
Well, you do what you want to talk about first. I want to talk about Speedball for a bit.
Okay. Okay, but so real quick, Crisis is another person who one great voice actor, good guy. But kind of how I talked with like when I was writing Maximus and I immediately heard Jay. I was writing Johnny Storm for
Frosty
Fiasco, and I immediately heard Crisis in.
He's really good, yeah.
And I was like, yeah. So I'm like, Crisis has to be Johnny.
Yeah.
The third time, well, not the third time. Technically, Crisis was the third. Knightmare with You was the other one, but
yeah, but
yeah,
with Speedball, I want to briefly talk about Speedball because there's a little history with this guy. Speedball is originally this like goofy fucking comic book character from the 1970s, occasionally teamed up with Spider-Man, and he was a bit of a fucking joke, and then he eventually ended up joining essentially B-list Avengers, right? And they had their own reality TV show within the universe of Marvel. And on one of the episodes, they try and stop this big bad like operation from going down. Eventually, Speedball, he releases a like bunch of energy, kills like basically entire town full of people, and then this kicks off the Civil War event. And then from there, Speedball's arc is a tragic deconstruction of his character, and there's a very sick moment where someone shoots Speedball and he survives, and it's like traced from like when Jack Ruby shot Lee Harvey Oswald, the famous photo, and it's such an interesting character, Speedball, from where I was looking, and I saw his video on it by Alex Lennon. He's a great comic book content creator. He makes like videos about. He makes really funny videos about like a bunch of comic books that he finds. About like stupid villains and stupid heroes and how like modern writers deconstruct them and what makes them so silly, essentially.
I think you sent me one of his videos.
I did.
The video on Speedball.
Yeah, no, it's a fantastic video. And then I was like, we got to put this guy in somehow. And then I just like, you know what, he'll go in my universe just very briefly. And I actually rewrote the first episode of Daredevil just to include him, because originally the first episode of Daredevil, Karen's boyfriend was meant to be just some random fucking guy, but I changed it to be Robbie Baldwin, which is Speedball's real name. So I incorporated Speedball into it like that. He's a really fascinating character in my opinion. But
no, and like I remember like something I was hoping we would have. We were going to end this, and we never did. Was his cat?
The cat. He has a funny little cat with the same powers that he does.
Yeah, but that never happened.
No.
I'm hoping that you'll do something with him again.
Yeah,
soon.
Speedball, the feature movie starring Bryan Cranston as Speedball. But
Crisis got fired.
It's now Bryan Cranston. Yeah. We got Bryan Cranston. We got Tom Hanks. We got Matthew McConaughey. We got everyone. But no, I think Speedball's a really interesting character.
We even got J-Red.
We got J-Red.
We got J-Red. Yeah.
Sorry about him.
No, but no, I think Christ did a really good job at Speedball. It wasn't exactly what I was thinking he would do, but I still quite like what he did do. Here, this is another one of the scenes that was filmed while I had the migraine, and I was at my dad's house, and you can really tell that here. the portal special effects. I want to talk about this because like some scenes I forgot to do it. This scene here specifically, I was by this point I was very tired, and obviously I had a migraine, so I wasn't in the right headspace to be doing this kind of thing. So I forgot to do a background for some of it. Basically, what I do was I have the basic frame. Then I'd put I'll pull up the image here. I obviously got a bright green Lego piece here. Then I put a blank one behind it, and in between this layer here, the front layer, and the layer behind, I put a portal effect I found on YouTube, and that's how I made the portal effect. Sometimes I just couldn't be asked, so I didn't put it in, because I think eventually around the time where I put Mordo in, and obviously Mordo wears green, so I had to I intentionally cut away from the shot in part 1 where he comes through the portal with Strange, and I had to when he's in the other dimension, I forget what it's called, but when he's in there, I like made like a separate box for just his like clothes. I just put that and composited that over it, just so he didn't like become part of the background. So here it's really cropped. I forgot to do it. And here is the Iron Man universe. I remember I was asking, why is he doing this? And you were like, I think your actual reaction, 100% was just like, would you want to see Iron Man beat a bunch of bank robbers? And I was like, oh, fair enough. I'm not too familiar with writing this scene. I think this is largely your doing. So if you'd like to talk about this.
Yeah. So this scene was written back when John, or Team Batman, was like, we were talking a lot more, and back when he was going to work with Atlas before he was fired for reasons I'm not going to bring up.
No, we're not going to. No. We'll air our dirty laundry, but not that much.
Yeah. So I was like, hey, can I put your Iron Man in? Because he wanted his Spider-Man, because he does a Spider-Man series, but I was like, no, we already have like 3 different Spider-Mans in this. And so I was like, let's do Iron Man. And he was like, hell yeah. Well, he didn't say hell yeah, he doesn't really swear. But so we included.
Oh, that's why he didn't say shit.
I was like,
oh,
yeah.
There's a line where he's meant to say shit, and then there's a comeback line from Wong where he says don't and shit to my art. And it doesn't make any sense because he said stuff, and I was like, oh, that. And I was thinking, does he not swear or something? Because to be fair, Leo doesn't. That's why I'm writing Batman episode 10 at the moment, and I was thinking I wanted Leo for the guard. And in the original script, he says "fuck," and obviously Leo doesn't swear, so I changed it to say "frick," but it doesn't change much. I think it actually works better now. He's not swearing, honestly, but I have to change some scripts because of that.
Yeah.
But no, yeah.
I'm kind of the same with.
Say shit.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing with Leo as Kingpin. Like, Kingpin can't swear because Leo doesn't swear.
To be fair,
but
no.
It works for Kingpin as well, because Kingpin isn't really like a he talks, but he's not like, I'm gonna chat like all the time. I'm gonna talk essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Back to this scene though. But yeah. So on retrospect, and he did voice the character. He voiced him like just. He sent me the lines a week or so before that controversy
Before he was
happened.
let go. Before he was let go, yeah.
Before he was let go, yeah. He enjoyed the video. He did DM about that.
Yeah, and no, I think he still did do a good job as Iron Man.
Yeah.
And then I think I remember you did this specific, but you mentioned this town called like Pensacola. I think specifically it is like. That was like
yeah.
No, and then this was I think this scene I enjoy it, but there was a copyright issue. The original draft had "Shoot to Thrill" by AC/DC that got blocked worldwide. And I was like, I reckon every single other AC/DC song will also get blocked. So I'll find a different one that sounds like it, and eventually I'll land on like Aerosmith, and Aerosmith with it worked fine. I actually I'd argue Aerosmith actually probably worked better, and it's got more of an upbeat feel to it, because it's like more of an upbeat thing of like Iron Man like robbing the bank and stuff like that. Wong's interaction here with Iron Man I think is really fucking funny.
Yeah.
I don't think it's so clear he doesn't give a shit. I think that's really funny.
Yeah. Wants above all of this. Like, this is nothing. But I remember didn't you cut like an interaction where Doctor Strange and Speedball like meet up with them, which I think works for like.
No, see, you say that. The reason I cut it was in the 11th hour. It was this video got released on, was it Friday? It was a Friday this video got released, I think. And on Wednesday, I realized, wait, I haven't filmed this scene. And I hadn't filmed it, and honestly, I couldn't be asked. So I quickly just like, you know what? You don't need it. Like, you can see in the next bit that they've met up. Like, you don't need it. It works fine with the whole story doesn't fall apart now that they're not there. So I just didn't I didn't continue with the scene or anything. But I don't really listen to what say about
it makes sense too, because I mean, like, both Wong and Doctor Strange are probably doing the same thing, like, each other. They probably met up through that.
Yeah,
like, it's not. People can put two and two together. It's
not rocket science. They met off screen. It's not like completely ridiculous. But I think it does. I think the story just flow more smoother without it. Even if it was if it was an unintentional, I call it a happy accident. This scene here, this was really cool. This is one of the last scenes I filmed. It might have been the last. No, it wasn't the last. But this is a really fun scene to do. Recently, I've been getting really into this game called Hearts of Iron 4, and that's the music you hear in the background.
Ooh, boy.
Hearts of Iron 4, basically, it's like this. It's a World War II grand strategy game. Essentially, it's just really complicated map painting. And the music you hear in the background here, this is from the game. And I'm for this figure here, I'm working on an X-Men project for myself, and I needed a bunch of German soldiers, so I got 2 of them, and I still need an officer, but I can't find one anywhere. But I was like, you know what, I've got one, might as well put it in, because I was originally going to use, I think it was one of the ATST drivers from Star Wars. I was originally going to use one of those torsos with the Batman looking boots that aren't from Batman. I think it's from the Raccoon in one of the CMF series. And I was just gonna wouldn't have a helmet. But now this, I think this works a lot better. I always had these MP40s kind of just lying around because I got them for an old Captain America project that fell through because it was shit. But I've always had these kind of lying around. I use them for like other scenes. Captain Carter here. You're very passionate about Peggy Carter, I know, character to my understanding. Yeah, because you've included her in both the Ant-Man films, and she's gonna be in Captain America, obviously. I think. Yeah. And you were gonna do a Captain Carter film, and then that fell through, I believe.
Yeah. That's why Captain Carter is because like I wanted more variety of characters, and What If was coming out around the time, or like it already came out, and I was like, I want to do something with Captain Carter because I think that's cool, and so I bought myself a Captain Carter figure, and I wrote a short Captain Carter film. I was going to direct it, but literally my original phone that I was going to film like literally shut down, and that's actually why I haven't posted anything on like my channel in like 3 years.
Oh, yeah.
It's why I stopped animating. Like, even if I want to animate now, I couldn't because like I just don't have those Legos anymore. Like I gave them to my siblings.
Okay.
But yeah, it's why like in the I mentioned like Captain Carter having because I was going to give her a sword at the end of that video.
I did get one because I was meant to get like a big sword. I think it was specifically one from Godric Gryffindor in the Harry Potter set, and I didn't get it.
Yeah.
So, I instead used a revolver, and I think the effect works better here.
Oh yeah, it does.
When the shot fires, and then what I did was I just like keyframed this like real bullet and like froze it in midair. I thought it was a really cool effect, and it falls to the ground. And then I think this scene It's one of the few interactions between two women in the entire thing, but I think it still works quite well, and I think a lot of the what if inspiration comes in a bit in the next scene here, but I also
I have a story. I have a story for the next scene.
We do have a funny story, don't we?
Yeah, we do. I told Enzo, and he hated me for it.
Wait, we'll wait for it to get onto it here. Here they are.
Yeah,
like a funny little story, man.
Okay, so when we were writing this scene in particular, we were discussing this.
It was what if we were discussing what if I remember.
And because I remember, like, Simon was like, I stopped watching after episode 2 or 3. I just couldn't.
No, because I saw like clips of What If, and the animation never really appealed to me. And then you were like, nah, watch the zombies episode because I kept making the joke about like Ant-Man crawling up Thanos' ass and exploding, and you were like, oh, you know,
and I lied to him.
And you know what? And he said, you know what? They do that in the show. They didn't. So I watched about halfway through the episode. And Ant-Man and then Wasp did the thing where they expanded inside a zombie and it exploded. And I watched it and I was like, this is shit. This is like, maybe some of the worst TV I've seen in a hot minute. So I have not watched a single episode of What If other than the first half of the zombies episode, and that's it. And since then, I've had such a vendetta against zombies. I fucking hate them. Right?
Like, I remember as soon as you finished the episode,
I didn't even finish it. I got halfway through and I just turned it off.
Yeah, but like,
we were on call while I was watching it. We were on call, and I'd watched it. I was like, "That's it," and you were like, "Yep," and I was like, "Fuck you, man."
Well, I think because I forgot. I don't want to say I initially meant to lie. Like, I said something like it happens, and then you said, "Wait, Thanos goes up," or Ant-Man goes up Thanos' ass, and I was just like, I just rolled with it. I was like, "Yep, he goes up his ass." But literally the following call, or later in that same call, I was discussing the scene with the zombies. But anytime I said zombie, Simon would scream.
I just started tweaking. It was just like, because it was just a trauma response. Because Thigh lied to my fucking face about What If, and now I hate What If with absolute passion, and I hate that fucking episode because Thigh lied to me. Like, even if I wanted to enjoy it, I can't because Thigh lied to me. And then every single time we mention zombies, I just fucking start tweaking, right? And then every single time you'll notice in the script. Every single time it should say zombies, it says the undead. And then every single time Knightmare speaks, he says undead instead of zombies. It's just... It was such a funny fucking bit I came up with, and then everyone like thought it was being dead serious. It was so funny.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
It is easily one of my favorite, like, behind the scenes stuff. I've been waiting to, like, share this info for so long. Like, I've been bottling up for, like, 3 years. Well, I have, but whatever. Yeah. But this in particular, this whole sequence, well, it was a reference to an early Marvel Zombies comic where a zombie Reed Richards from the Marvel Zombies universe it like tricks the main Reed Richards to go to the zombie universe. But like Reed's about to die, but then he's saved by Magneto, who's still alive, and Magneto's actually like the leader of like the last bit of survivors who are all human. It's like Magneto put aside his like bigotry and differences to save what's left of humanity, and ultimately he sacrifices himself to save Reed Richards to get back to his universe. But in this, instead, Knightmare kills both of them before that could happen. It's like an alternate reality version of that.
Yeah.
Also, I remember in the script, or at least I talked about. So one of my favorite zombie movies is the original Dawn of the Dead by George A. Romero.
Yeah.
At the very end, of the movie, nice little jingle that plays while we see all the zombies just kind of essentially take over the mall. And I wanted to include that jingle in this, but never put it in.
Yeah, and I forgot about that because I remember there was another scene you wanted to reference with Eric O'Grady towards the end, and then I also forgot to do that as well because I have mountains in the background, and then there was a little.
Yeah.
I forgot about that as well. I'm so sorry. But
Magneto was probably one of the hardest people to cast. I know it's like 2 lines or whatever. I was like, I wanted this Magneto to be good, and I ended up getting Brandon, who also voiced Mordo in part 1.
Voiced Mordo, yeah.
Will he voice Magneto in Atlas? I have genuinely no idea.
He is really good. I remember I got those lines. He was like, "Oh, that's good." Like, I wasn't expecting them, and I was like, "Oh, yo, shit!" Like,
So I've been considering getting him for Magneto for like official Atlas stuff, but we'll see what happens. Similar thing with Professor X, but I'm
with what is it? Mr. Disco Taka voices him in this. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was really good.
It's essentially like, it's like testing the waters of what will work and what doesn't.
There's just casting testing. This is my. I was like the fucking guinea pig for all the casting in this. But you pointed out a little Easter egg that I put in that Mordo's body and Agatha's head are just in his fucking like room or in the room that he's in. Like I put them in there and I was like, you know what, that's pretty cool. I reckon he'd keep them around just as like a trophy. And then I think you're the only person who noticed. If someone else did, they didn't tell me. And that was a really cool Easter egg. I just thought it would be nice to put them in there and just like
yeah. I wish I brought it up in that like Instagram post, but never did. I wish I did.
We'll mention it now then. That's what the commentary's for.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then, now we're back in the Wolverine place, and somehow he's managed to procure himself a cigarette, as you do. But
I like to think he pulled it out of that guy's head.
Yeah, no.
Like,
when he throws a cigarette at a different guy and it sets fire to him just because. And I remember I showed that scene to my mate because I was like editing in college to try and crank this thing out at like the 11th hour, and I showed it to my mate and she was like, "Do you really think that people get set fire and have cigarettes on it?" Then I was like, "Really, really hot cigarettes." It was just a stupid thing, but like but no, this is.
Knowing Wolverine.
Yeah. No, go on.
Knowing Wolverine, he probably would need like a really big like cigarette.
True.
Like actually feel something.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it could.
Good, you know. Those like cigarette pieces there from Firestar Toys, I believe, because like Firestar's made it like really good like food, drink, cigarettes. It's really good stuff they have there.
Yeah.
And then by this point you could tell I was getting kind of tired because I took a bit of a break between this scene, I think, and the Iron Man scene. The Iron Man scene and the Captain Carter scene animated really well compared to this bit, and you can tell at this point I was getting a little bit bored, like, but because I've been animating like 40 minutes worth of shit, and I need to take breaks, otherwise the animation will just get worse. But I took a break, and this scene suffers from it because I hadn't taken a break between part 1 and part 2. But after this, I did take a break, and then I think the Captain Carter scene, some of the final scenes, the fight scene that's on the roof, but it isn't really clear it's on the roof. But I think it works really well, the fact that I did take a break. But
yeah.
But then this
but
scene here as well, this is good here.
Yeah, it's still good. It's not awful.
No, yeah.
But like you could definitely tell the difference. But I love the world building of like this universe's Tony Stark funding all the horrible shit that's happening to mutants.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah.
Fucking, it's always It's
I
always
put that in the
Philadelphia
background.
music.
I put it in the background because, like, Doctor Strange. I recently got into It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but like, Doctor Strange, I find it so funny. He just like panicking, like, what are they doing? They're gonna ruin the fucking world, and the two of them are just sat there chilling. And I think I thought that was so funny, so I just put the It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia theme in the background, just like contrast it.
He's like.
Oh, Marilyn Monroe can become Hitler, and it's just the two of them just sat there chilling, just having a little talk about the history of World War II, and it's just like, it's such a funny contrast, and it reminds me of the way Philadelphia does the intros, where it's like, oh, this is never gonna happen, and the title just cuts to the thing happening. It's so funny, but it's becoming one of my new favorite shows. I love it, but This scene here, I didn't do the portal either as well, because obviously the ground is green, and you go, oh, well, do a blue screen then. The sky is blue, so I was fucked either way. So I didn't film the portal scene. There was almost like too many of them by this point. There was about 6 of them coming through this portal, and I was like, that's too many. So I didn't do.
We need a montage.
This scene here.
We need to get like a
this
Crisis improv.
This bit here. I was expecting Crisis to just like, because in the script it says hums careless whisper, and I expected him just to do a little like a but he did like the entire chorus and then some, full passion, and I have now a recording of Crisis humming careless whisper in like the most passionate way possible, and I'm tempted to show it because it's so good. Like genuinely, it's like unironically like incredible, but like it's so good. Like he did like he put so much effort into that, and it's just it's great. But it's like one of my favorite bits of the whole thing. The fact I just have that now. I have an entire recording of Crisis. Anyway, this is the scene. This is the final fight. This is a lot. This is a lot to do. So this is like such a little thing, but I spent a little bit too long on this to not talk about it. I basically just cut out this in like PowerPoint. The flying disc, it's only there for like 3 frames. No one would have cared, but I cut it out anyway. And then there's this is a really big scene. I think it was your idea for this mainly. But I think if you're talking about the cameos, then you can go ahead. This is the first cameo here. So Bad Days, I believe. It's all Pixely glory.
Yeah. So real quick, but pause it real quick. This was one of the last cameos that was sent to us. I remember Bad, and he was like, "Oh, could I do something?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure," because he was going to do an X-Men series that never came through due to some up between the people who were like working on it together. But he wanted to at least do something, and so this was his way to kind of do that. I was like, "Yeah, sure," just in like a couple 2-3 second cameo, something like that. And then he sent me a 30-second clip of the X-Men fighting a Sentinel.
It reminds me of Crisis video, how there's like that really long Batman cameo from Nathaniel Henley, I believe his name is. It's a great either way, both the cameos are fucking fantastic. They're just like very long. Like they're great, but they're very long. And I remember discussing this with Thaya, was like, this is either gonna have to be the first one or the last one we do. So you're one of them, but
I'm happy it's the first one though. It kind of sets the tone of like what the fuck's going on here.
Yeah.
I like it as the first one.
Yeah, no, it creates a bit of intrigue. I'd like to see where this would have gone, but
Yeah, cause like Bad Days animated this so beautifully.
He's so good, and you can't tell because I downloaded it off YouTube, and it's like 720 pixels, so you can't tell how great this is. It is fantastic animation when it's not like this low quality, because I downloaded it off YouTube, but it's really great when I watch it the first time. I love his Wolverine design here as well. I don't even know how he did that when he made it all grey, but like that's great. I love his Bishop design here. His Bishop as well. This looks fantastic. This just intrigues me so much, and then the purple light in the sky here, and then it cuts to the montage. And the montage, I thought we were going to go through this piece by piece. This is in Inferno. Inferno is the one other. It's basically the like 3 British guys that I know in this community. It's me,
Yeah.
it's Inferno, and it's Harry. And Inferno, he has his own Marvel Universe, and he got me to voice Captain Britain a few times, and he's a lot more proud to be British than I am. But he's a great fella. I love hanging around with him. But I've been in a few voice calls. I haven't spoken to him in ages. Now I'm thinking about it. But he just did animate this little segment of him just beating up some random guy, and then he
This is one of the first. Yeah, this was one of the first cameos he did. This was. So currently, Inferno is like rebooting his Marvel universe.
Oh yeah.
So this, and also he has like an official, like a really cool custom Captain Britain figure.
Yeah, no, I saw that.
Using
Yeah.
from.
It was in.
So
was it,
so
was
now
it an MLU
so this
thing he used it in or something else.
Yeah, I think he used it for LMEU.
LMEU. Oh, that LMEU.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, shit. Disco Tacos.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He definitely asked the one British guy he knew to voice that.
Yeah. So currently I have no idea whether or not this is canon to his old universe. I know it's not canon to anything he's doing now. But whether or not this is canon to anything, it's still fun to have the character around.
Yeah.
But speaking of Mr. Disco Taco, he was supposed to film a cameo. We a handful of people I really wanted to be involved with this project were not able to be in the project. And Disco Taco was one of them. He was down to film a cameo. We did discuss a cameo. We ended up discussing like 1 or 2 characters that he was going to film for it. I don't know if I'm allowed to say who they were.
Oh well. That's fine.
Yeah, but we discussed either him filming like a 2-3 second clip or like going back to like because he specified Civil War, going to a Civil War video.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and like film it and like you being one of the scenes and like putting a purple filter over it. But at the end of the day, he was not able to film anything for it. I know other people work for the LMEU, but that never went into consideration.
He's the big one.
But,
he's the big one, isn't it? He's the big guy.
Exactly. He's the guy who runs it. Okay.
This is a special cameo here. This DC one. This is what I was not expecting. I was not expecting this at all. But I am quite a big fan of these like designs. I'm not familiar with the guy personally who did this. Is it Cake? Is it Cake Studios or something?
No. This is anime. This is Fred's DCSU. He's a very chill, cool guy.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of these designs, though. I love Aquaman specifically here in the background. Like he's managed to combine, like the what is it? It's the animated Justice League one with the original one and some spiky hair. I'm really fan of these designs. I can't lie. I think this Martian Manhunter one is going to look exactly like how mine is, but the Batman. Yeah, no, I'm quite a big fan of the way this universe looks, but I wasn't expecting it. I'll say that much when it popped up in my DMs. I was like, oh, this is new. I was expecting it to all be like Marvel, but I think having a DC thing in there also kind of works. I think a little.
Though something he told me, and something I do agree with, is I wish this was the last cameo in the montage to kind of like surprise you, like surprise DC. But I'm happy where it is. I think it's fun.
That does make a bit more like sense now that if it was the last cameo. Here, then there's what's the next one? This funny little one. Howard the Duck. My go.
We got Howard the Duck, White Tiger, Man Thing, and Melf. Melf is a MELF is an actual character from Marvel Comics who is an evil elf who tries to take over the North Pole from Santa Claus. And Cake has used him very frequently in his Marvel content. And if we ever do, would like to include him in one of the holiday specials one of these days.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this was Cake's cameo. I don't know what the fuck's going on in the context of why all these characters are together, but I'm
excited to see. then there's this one. This is from the 2099 video that we did. The Atlas
Yeah.
one.
Oh, actually, so this cameo takes place right before that video. So
Okay.
this is like what leads into that. Me and Fearless Productions or Clue. I don't know which one you'd rather me call him. I usually call him Clue, but professionally Fearless Productions. We have discussed a miniseries for 2099. But he's busy doing other projects like Plastic Man and stuff for the MLU.
Yeah,
so
MLU.
we'll see. We'll see when.
Is it LDCU? Yeah, it's Plastic Man. He's doing his
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great guy. He's really funny and just a talented animator. But yeah, he was able to whip this up.
Yeah, just really quickly. This is just one shot of him jumping down from a building and he looks at the light. And then this is Spiny Sky who commented on the last video. This is his Moon Knight cameo.
Yeah, this was the first cameo filmed for the video.
Yeah.
And this was his Moon Knight design from specifically his video, Lego Moon Knight Black and White.
Yeah.
And in that video, Moon Knight teams up with Punisher to fight Dracula because that's when that meme was popular. And so I think this is canon to that continuity. I know Spiny Sky is doing his own Marvel Universe with that's actually more serious, and it's really good. But I think again, this is just kind of the interesting time capsule that this project kind of ended up being. A lot of different reasons.
Yeah.
And here is Jordan's for the BMCU.
This is Daredevil and Foggy. I assume there's a Foggy on the left.
Yeah, that's Foggy.
My goat Foggy.
And actually, Jordan, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but Jordan has said that he wants to like bring this up in his Daredevil series, so that goes.
We'll see.
But okay, so something I do want to comment here while we're looking at this image of the purple sky. So obviously, in every cameo, the purple sky is a different shade of purple.
Yeah.
Production-wise and reason is because I never specified what type of purple. So everyone just did a different purple.
Yeah.
But in my headcanon, the different shading is like how far each universe is.
True.
Like the brighter it is, the closer it is to Atlas, and the farther it is, the darker it is. To be very, I don't want to. I'm very happy we were able to do this project. Though I don't think we're probably going to do a multiverse thing again for a while.
No.
Like I'm happy this can be a one-off thing. Like this is not this is only the beginning. We're going to be building
the multiverse saga. We're going to bring in Kang and then we're going to get rid of him for a little bit. We're going to bring back Doctor Doom.
Yeah, no. And
this cameo, we had a bit of a kerfuffle over this one, didn't we?
Yeah.
What happened was you. Well, this is a cameo from Gravity Films Force, and who else runs the MLU? It's Greenleaf, and it's probably Josh. They run the MLU, which is like it's, to be fair, it's a bit better than Atlas. But
yeah, no, obviously. I mean, come on, you have those three running a Marvel universe. It's easily going to be some of the best brick film. I'm not even going to argue with that.
But Gravity Films for quickly cooked up this one. I think this was quite early on in Spider-Man's career in that universe, and he made this, and Dai asked me to mute the audio, and I forgot to mute the audio, and then I showed him a preview, and he was like, "Can you mute the audio, please?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay, why?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't think it makes any sense." And then I was like, "Well, I want humble bragging rights, though. Just say Gravity Films 4 was in my thing." And then I had to explain it to him as well, how I think it was. How there's a big portal of Doctor Strange in the sky. And he's like, "Oh, you know what? Fine then." So he eventually just gave up arguing with me, and I got to put it in.
Yeah.
He just says, "Is that another Doctor Strange?" So I just kept that in.
Yeah, but I think Gravity was the last cameo that we got.
No.
Yeah. it was either him or I think
Bad Days.
yeah, Bad Days or Gravity were the last ones. But either way, um, I've always I was a writer for the MLU like just before I started Atlas.
I think you told me about
So
this. Yeah,
I literally
this brief little phase you
yeah.
were in. Yeah.
But despite the fact that none of my projects ended up happening or that I never really got involved with the MLU's like official like storytelling, I am happy with that work because I really got to befriend a lot of those people, and they're really nice guys.
Oh, they're great.
And
I don't speak with them that often, but when I do, they all seem really chill. I don't think I've gotten in a voice call with many people since then. Since about last year, I don't think.
yeah.
But no, when I did speak to them, they all seemed really chill. I think the last time I spoke to all of them was I think a premiere of J Red's. He did a little preview screening of, I think it was Batman episode 4. Did a preview screening of that. I think it was the last time I spoke to them, and they all seemed really chill. But no, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, let's.
But since
Another Doctor Strange?
No, if you
since
want
I wanted to do yeah. But since then I wanted to do like an MLU cameo, and so I'm really happy we got to do that.
Yeah, no.
And we could just spot all the bajillion different figures.
Yeah,
and
so if we
backgrounds.
want to cycle through these frame by frame, so we got this is a specific one you asked for. You asked for Spider-Man, but he's a police officer. I didn't know what to do with him. Passed about here, so I just gave him like two Uzis I just had lying around. I just gave him. I think this is meant to be Uncle Ben, I believe here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Originally, there was supposed to be a segment where all of them went to like a world that Knightmare couldn't find to like make a plan,
Yeah.
and it was going to be a world where, essentially, as an alternate reality where Uncle Ben became or got bit by the spider, and after he lost Peter, he didn't want to save the world, and so somehow Doc Ock destroyed the world, or like he like killed everyone, but Uncle Ben was still alive, so Uncle Ben was just wandering around in this apocalypse, and that's where the team was just going to meet up and like talk and discuss shit. We were going to see Uncle Ben, and so yeah, that's technically Uncle Ben right there.
Right. We've also got Batman, and then Elvis Presley here. This is meant to be Rorschach.
That's Elvis?
Yeah, it's Elvis. This is meant to be Rorschach here from Watchmen. Then we've got My Daredevil. I don't know. I think this is meant to be Ant-Man or something behind here. I don't know. No, it's War Machine. Then there's there's Ant-Man, and then
There's
this is
Ant-Man.
Catwoman here. I think that's the design from my universe, my Batman series. There's one over here. Someone's just appeared out of frame. Daredevil, comic accurate Daredevil, ginger hair. Then we've
Sandman.
got no, it's actually Sandwoman. Someone in the back of the thing. It's the Stormtrooper here.
We will. We just have to clear the room.
And then behind him we've got Cletus Cassidy, MCU Spider-Man, and then boom. And then this is very unclear, but he's meant in this bit here. He's meant to like go onto the ceiling, and he fights Knightmare on the ceiling, but wasn't very clear. And I'm looking back on it. Here's some more cameos. I think it's supposed to be. Is it meant to be Catwoman? I don't even know, but it's just. I think it's meant to be Catwoman. Then there's Cyclops, but he's a pirate, and Captain George Stacy here. Then there's pervy little Ant-Man there. We get back to him in a minute.
Yeah.
Which you did. You're not a big fan of Erica Grady Ant-Man. And then
No,
these
so I despise him. Like me and SBS we legit had a discussion on if we would include him in our Ant-Man trilogy, I
think you told me about this when you were writing, yeah.
Yeah, we were like, we don't want to include it. But I love referencing or showing off obscure characters. I mean, Atlas has so many obscure characters that have popped up throughout its history.
Yeah.
Or throughout its videos.
Specifically, I wanted there's like three or four crazy villains I found.
Yeah. But I at least wanted to reference Eric O'Grady in something, or like show him in something. And this was the perfect project to do so I could just like toss him in and like say he's from another universe. And kill him. And literally I was writing this we were writing this scene like right after I saw Army of Darkness, or one of the third Evil Dead movie from Sam Raimi, and because Sam Raimi did the Spider-Man trilogy and Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, I wanted to reference Sam Raimi in this somehow. And so in Army of Darkness, there's like this scene where Ash is just like going into like this like windmill or something, and like he like shatters a mirror, and like all these like tiny evil versions of himself just start running around and doing something. And then there's like a scene where like he's like trying to stomp on one, and during that he's singing like London Bridge is Falling Down, and I thought that was like the funniest thing at the time, and so I wanted to include it. And so this was also meant to be like a homage to that.
And then I forgot to put the music in it. I said Wanda just like makes him small and then just steps on him.
Mm-hmm.
We also there was a conversation that me and Thai had where we were like, he says something vile here about hopping in like Wanda's breasts, and we were discussing this, and neither of us wanted to say it because it's such an awful thing to say. And they're actually like, you know what? No will fucking say anything. So we just messaged him. We were like, hey, can you do this for us? He was like, yeah, sure. Because like, and then we got it, and we got him to voice the line for us. And I specifically got the face from Mad Eye Moody with the guy, and he's licking his lips like fucking like David Tennant from Harry Potter. He's licking his lips. I specifically got that one to look like the most pervy guy possible. And then,
but like,
here Wanda shrinks and steps on him. Yeah. This one here. This is the Deadpool. This is the most gratuitous cameo in the whole thing. I remember we wrote this and I was like, that is such a fucking bullshit cameo. Like he just comes out of a portal like fucking Endgame style and then just like disappears. You don't see him again. It's just but it was still fun to get Gregory animations in it. It was really fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so Gregory was a big reason why I wanted to do like brick filming or like be involved in the brick film community, because I saw his videos back in like when he was starting up in 2017 or something. Mm-hmm. So when I was starting out, when we were doing this video, I was like, thanks to Spiny Sky, I was able to DM him, and I asked him if he wanted to do this, and he's like, yeah, sure. And so he sent this to me within like a week or so. I knew this clip is like 2-3 years old now.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but it was the second cameo filmed for this.
Yeah, no.
And it is one. It's you cut it and it wouldn't be, and you would miss nothing. But it is one of my personal favorite cameos.
It's funny, but I remember I wrote it, and I remember we wrote it, and I was like, come on, man, like. This is like the most like Marvel jangling keys in front of a baby type cameo I've ever seen in my life, but it works.
Yeah.
But I still like it. It was fun to have it in. But here's the sword fight.
Yeah.
This is like, I think again this is meant to be like on the ceiling of the same room, but it's not very clear.
What you should have done was like flip the scene upside down.
I was gonna do that, and then I forgot. I remember I was watching it, and I just didn't do it. I think I had it in the trailer the right way up. And then they like force choke. There's the force choke sound from Star Wars for that bit.
Maybe if we do like a full video, or like we edit it to where it's like one big 40-minute video, we could like correct it maybe.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. This bit here, that we have a very funny story about this scene specifically. So this scene here where Wolverine fucking blows up here, the direction in the script, right? We literally, I remember we were writing this bit and I was like, you know what would be really funny? Because I think I'd read Watchmen very recently when I wrote this scene, and I was like, you know what would be really funny if we just like, spoilers for Watchmen by the way, Dr. Manhattan blows up Rorschach at the end just like this, and I just like, what would be really funny if for the direction for this scene, we just took the screenshot from the comic and just put it in. That's the direction for the script. I can actually pull up the fucking screenshot in the script. I'm gonna pull that up on screen now. It's like we just put it in, and I was like, yeah, we know what we're talking about here. But no, that was how I blew up Wolverine, because I recently watched read Watchmen, and I was like, let's do it. I was
Yeah.
originally going to use the music from the scene, but I thought Mountains from Interstellar worked a bit better for like a bit of a climax. And then Doctor Strange appears, and this is like the most like compared to the rest of this like final scene's very like PG family friendly, I think. Because like it's like, oh, we can stop you because we had the power of friendship. And it's like, and then they fucking Voldemort his ass. It wasn't very clear that he Voldemorted him because of the way I edited it. It seems like he just exploded again. Yeah, this line of dialogue's very like, with the power of God and anime on my side, and it's just like, but it's still a good.
My one
Go on.
My one critique.
Go on.
My one critique is I feel like it goes by too quick. That's my only.
Yeah, I was thinking that
fight. But I'm very happy with how everything turned out, and I like the montage of like the happy ending of they're actually getting along. I also love Ratism.
Yeah, from Suicide Squad. It felt really cheesy, but it worked. And then this is a Miss Disco Taco voicing.
And this was how we were able, and this is why I'm not gonna shit talk Disco because he voiced in this video for us. I'm kidding. No, real quick. To be very clear, like, so the reason Disco wasn't able to do his cameo was just because he was like insanely busy, and that's 100% fair.
I can imagine.
I made that joke out of love, but he was able to voice Professor X in this, thankfully. So in some way we were able to get him in the video, which I was happy about. I'm like, hey, we got him in the video somehow. I'm fine with it. But yeah, and this was one of the scenes where like I had full, because I sent the lines out to both Grace and Disco Taco, and I changed some of the lines. Like I altered. I would do that occasionally. Like if I was the one.
Yeah, I noticed you changed a couple of them because there's a joke. There's a joke back when Strange goes to meet Speedball. There's a joke about like filing out paperwork and stuff, and that's not in the that's not in the ones that got sent by Airborne. And then Crisis has a line where he just like laughs at a joke that Strange didn't make. But anyway, it still works, and this is I remember this bit was slightly different as well. And this it's just I think it was a little bit different. It wasn't too much, I don't think. Let me put the music in the background as well, really cheesy. Then there's a Carter and Steve.
Real quick on this. So in the video I was going to make about Captain Carter, Red Skull would have killed Steve, and that's why I was very hesitant when you wrote this at the time, because I was like,
I wrote it. Then, I said to him we could have like I was like, oh, we would have had a dancing scene at the end of it, like an Endgame, and you were like, I remember that. You were like, sure. And then
but that video never came out, so it doesn't matter. It's fine. It's a sweet scene. It's also probably the last time we'll ever see Captain Carter. I don't imagine ever doing anything with her again.
In the Captain America series, she operates very similar to First Avenger, and then in Liam's Ant-Man video, she's the director of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah,
I think one thing I'd love to dive into in the Captain America series is a personal thing. It's just like how Captain Carter becomes, respectfully, a bit of a bitch by the time Ant-Man comes out.
Yeah.
Because in most of the comics, she styles as quite a nice person. I think it'd be interesting in a Captain America series to like dive into like what in her life. I'm going to assume it's mainly her relationship with Steve, and more accurately the end of the relationship with Steve that probably turns down to that place, which is briefly mentioned in Ant-Man, but I think a deep dive would be really interesting into Captain Carter's character.
Yeah, she's one of my personal favorite. Well, she's one of my favorite characters in the MCU, and I hate that her show got canceled after season 2. But anyways, I when we were doing. Oh, real quick for this scene though. Originally, Doctor Strange was supposed to open a portal, and both of them were going to enter through it.
And then that happened in the movie. And then it happened in Doctor Strange, the multiverse of madness. So I just panned into his face.
And now To me, it looks like an innuendo now.
Yeah. Oh, it does. Oh no, I see what you mean now. I didn't see it like that, but now I do know what you mean. I see what you mean now. Yeah, I'm just gonna mute.
Okay, let me show you, and then just
let me show you. Unzips his pants. Anyway, I'm just gonna have the credits playing while you explain what you're talking about with Carter there.
But it was like, so I had the idea of her being like director of Shield because I was like, well, I feel like out of anyone before Nick Fury, it'd be her. Mm-hmm. It was like from the 40s to the 70s or 80s. And then I never intended for her to be. She probably would have some like gray morals, but I never really intended for her to be evil until, at least not evil, but just very like strict to the extreme until SBS wrote that fucking after credit scene with Hawkeye, and I was like, oh shit, she's fucking delusional.
Yeah.
And so a bit of that, well, because the first scene I ever wrote with her in Atlas was the post-credit scene in Humans. She's a lot more chill in that, and we do reference that. We subtly reference it in Ant-Man 2, but we don't go into it because reasons. But okay, you can pause it right here.
The massive cameos list.
Yeah. But when it came to like, so I kind of me and SBS kind of talked about how like when writing Peggy, we kind of discussed of like comparing her to like Butcher from The Boys in terms of like his hatred for soups. Yeah, like he himself necessarily like his hatred of it doesn't come from a bad place because and this part you're gonna want to bleep, but so since then Peggy has been very like, you know, he wants control over superheroes. Any superpower, any like advanced being needs control, needs to be like under watch. And it went downhill from there. That is something I'm really looking forward to when we get to Captain America, is just seeing the complete opposite of that and seeing like how
a more jolly
like
car,
and I think it's a fun parallel of like Captain Carter here. Like we're actually seeing a good Captain Carter, like, or a good Peggy Carter saving the day. I think it's like I'm interested in like, because I think that version of Steve, like it's going to be the same thing that happens in Atlas, but it's going to be Steve Rogers that becomes the director of Shield in that universe or something like that. But that's just my guess. We're never gonna explore that. But I do like that this is like the last thing we see of Peggy is like that dance. It's like, okay, we give a little reward for her being in this video. And we see Steve for like 2 seconds.
He's just there. He's going to look nothing like this in the actual Captain America. By the way, looks nothing like this.
Yeah. I'm happy with how everything turned out, though. It's a very but real quick though, I will bring this up before we get to the after credit scene. We were going to have 2 post credit scenes.
We were, weren't we? We were.
Yeah. One was the one that we ended up getting.
Yeah.
And the other was Deadpool, yeah.
Yeah.
Atlas Deadpool.
And it was meant to be like, it was kind of like a, I think it was kind of like a story by the fire type situation where he sat there. He's got like a big fucking pipe and a book in the other hand, and he's in a dressing gown, and he looks to the audience, and he's like, "Hi, kids," and then he just starts talking about like, I forget what it is about, like some bullshit about us being like antisocial weirdos. I don't remember. Like, and then he's like, Doctor Strange, get a sequel, and he goes, and then he's about to say it, and then it cuts to Whitney Houston and "I Will Always Love You" as a reference to the to the initial Deadpool and Wolverine teaser, where like when they show Hugh Jackman originally, and then they cut to Whitney Houston, in the original Deadpool and Wolverine teaser.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And that was the first time we ever wrote Deadpool. I think that was just before, just like after.
Yeah.
Was cast as him.
Yeah, but then we did like a billion different scenes in different projects, all post-credit scenes that are almost exactly like that. And eventually we got to Doctor Strange, and we were like, we don't need this because we've already done this bit about three or four times now, right? So we just got rid of it. So there's a secret post-credit scene, and I had like a playlist on my iTunes of like all the Doctor Strange soundtrack, and I noticed it recently. So I was recently editing it after I released this, and I noticed that Whitney Houston was on there, and I was like, oh, that fucking cameo at the end that we cut.
Yeah, and honestly, like the biggest because I honestly think we essentially did like a very similar thing, specifically in Frosty Fiasco when he shows up at the end talking to the Watcher.
That was the specific one you mentioned. Yeah, that was the one.
Yeah, because I was like,
please don't do this.
Yeah, because I was going through the script, Doctor Strange's script, and I got to that after credit scene. And I was like, you know what? We just did this. Let's not do this again. Like.
I love how you said just did this, and now that's 2 Christmases ago.
Yeah.
By the time you said that, it was. By the time when you said that, it was we just did this, but now that's 2 Christmases ago.
Yeah. So to be fair, we cut this very late we cut it out very late into production. It was probably like mid 2024, I think.
Yeah. I think so.
It was a bit. Yeah.
It might have actually. I think it might have actually been before I started filming part 1. I think maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was like, why I was still procrastinating. I think it was in that procrastination stage.
Yeah, but so now, and then we have the other post-credit scene, which we will discuss,
which is about to come up after this. Don't care. So. Who cares which dickheads wrote this? So this is the proper post-credit scene. This is with a little teaser for one of the next Atlas projects we're going to do. It's going to be one of these ones, and we've got... Oh, look who we have! Oh, it's the guy! It's the guy! He looks a little different from Enzo's thing, and I discussed it with Enzo, and essentially, Frosty Fiasco takes place like way past the OG Fantastic Four film that I want to do. So Fantastic Four, the new one. I don't want to discuss too much, but it's the Fantastic Four. It's not an origin story, but it's quite early on in their career. They haven't met Doom yet, but he plays a role in it. Not explicitly though. But this is quite early on. He hasn't grown out stubble. His hair hasn't grayed. But he looks a bit like Jerry Seinfeld. So and you saw the I'm assuming everyone here has seen the teaser on the Instagram. We also got Johnny. Johnny looks about the same, and Sue. I think Sue looks a bit different. I haven't seen Frosty Fiasco in a while. I can't lie to you, but I used is it Pam? Pam from The Office. I used her face and then just some generic tied back hair. But
oh, nice.
This is the Fantastic Four. This is what they're going to look like in the next Fantastic Four project. All the cast should be returning, including the Thing, because people were concerned that the Thing wasn't there. I just haven't bought him yet. There's one on eBay I'm eyeing up. I might actually buy him after we finish recording this. But and then I'm just gonna
fingers crossed.
No, but Thing is right. He's like all the ones I can find. Like they all have either white or red trousers. So I might just buy this one with the white trousers and just spray paint it blue, right? And just mask up the rest of it. But no, these custom torsos are great. I got these off eBay too. I might try and find a different one for Invisible Woman if I can be asked. But I don't think there is one in a similar style to this, because this one looks like the spitting image in the games. And but yeah, it should be coming out quite soon. The Fantastic Four.
Yeah. And in terms of like what we want, well, this I'll be discussing. I can't really say anything.
We can't spoil too much, man. my fucking dad, he commented, he saw this, right, and he said to me, he was like, there's a bunch of people in here saying this is finally out, Jesus Christ, and then it's just everyone in the bar was like, finally, no, yeah, so it was this document, the document we have for Doctor Strange. It was created in March 2022, and it was last modified in March 2025. So that's that. We did it finally. So we're done. Now time to move on. I'm going to move on to work on my own stuff for a while, and then I'll get back to Atlas eventually with either Fantastic Four or Black Panther. Which is going to be fun. I'm quite excited about these two projects, and I think you are too, to my understanding.
I am.
I think that's everything we have to talk about. I don't think.
Yeah.
I think of anything else. I have been Pixar in 2007, and I was the director, writer, and editor, and slave, and of Doctor Strange Knightmare.
And I was the video maker, the co-writer, semi-producer, and master of the universe.
Yeah. Special thanks to
and
Enzo as well for dragging some of the lines over to me. Yeah, he asked special thanks at the end of that part one. I gave it to him. So
yeah, thank you Enzo for slaving away at.
Yep.
Honestly, anything I tell you to do.
Yeah.
Thank you, J-Red.
Oh, thank you, J-Red. Yes, thank you, J-Red.
Thank you for dying again and again, and you'll probably keep dying some more. I can't wait for Daredevil to die.
We're gonna fucking kill him!
Do that.
No, not yet.
So, like, part 3 is just flatline at a hospital.
Yeah.
After what happened in episode 2.
Yeah, he gets fucking blown up, and it's just like a fucking 15-minute long flatline sound effect.
Yeah.
But who else do we need to thank? Thank you to all the other wonderful actors. Thank you to all.
Thank you to everyone. Thank you to everyone who filmed something.
Yeah, thank you to all the people who filmed the cameos, and thank you to all the other people in Atlas who have made it this big already. I mean, Jesus.
Yeah. 2025 is going to be a big year for us all. I mean, this video finally came out, but we got other projects coming out in 2025 as well.
Yeah.
That I'm hoping, because I'm currently writing an Iron Man video. Ooh. Enzo is writing Hulk. Ooh. Enzo's writing Hulk for us.
I'm currently trying to balance 3 Atlas projects at the same time, like a fucking circus animal.
Well, don't do them time, but yeah. And we got other production stuff going on with other projects that we'll get to when we get to. And yeah, and that was Doctor Strange, Knightmare.
Thank you, dear viewer, for watching this video, and we'll hope to see you again very, very soon. Thank you very much.
I can't wait to be here on the blood. The blood meridian can't. The commentary for that.
Yeah,
which will take 5 hours.
I'll need someone to bounce off of. So. Oh my Jesus Christ! We're recording for 2 hours. Okay.
Oh God. We're gonna have to split this commentary.
We're gonna make it 2 parts, like the movie. Anyway,
it'll take 3 years to release each part.
Exactly. We'll see you soon. Goodbye.
Goodbye.